You're looking at him. There he is. There's Aljo, Aljamain Sterling, UFC 310. Two more sleeps, Aljo. And Movsar Evloev is in your future. How the heck are you?
Just a little thirsty. The weight cut shenanigans, but we're almost there.
What's the difference between the 135 weight cut and the 145 in terms of what fight week's like?
I don't have to work out as hard, and I don't have to break my body down and really try to let my body eat at the muscles to achieve the weight. When we did our testing at the PI staff, my fat-free mass was 141 and a half, roughly about that. So to get past that, that's with no body fat on me. I'm already a super lean guy, so just imagine that. And trying to get down to 135 was not easy.
Now, I could never imagine that. In your debut here at featherweight, when you beat Calvin Cater, did you notice physically and mentally in the cage a complete difference?
Oh yeah, 100%. I felt more energized. It kind of reminded me when I first got to the UFC, and obviously I was 24 years old, so it was a lot easier for me to have my energy levels throughout the entire 15 minutes. Um, I just felt more like my younger self, but at a different weight class. Because obviously, when I got older, my bones got whatever a little more dense. Maybe I got a little muscular, and the weight cut just got harder to make for 135. So now I'm in a much better place, and I feel my conditioning is reflecting that.
Well, look, Aljo, this is a really, really big fight. One of the best on Saturday of UFC 310, two top 10 featherweights. You're facing an unbeaten opponent. But like the storyline has been about the placement of the fight in those mid prelims. Dude, I feel like you got dicked down in this equation. What gives, Aljo?
I don't know. That's a question for Dana. Hopefully, there's more people that's going to be able to watch, being that it's free. And I guess glass half full, we get to finish earlier. I get to go drink some Funk Harbor and celebrate with the family. All
Sure.
my friends that are flying out here from New York coming to watch. So that's cool. I think we're going to be fighting somewhere around 5:30 Vegas time. So it'll be a lot of time to kind of come home, shower, put the party shoes on, the dancing shoes, and get ready to go.
I mean, is it a style thing at the end of the day, or is it some like Aljo's not on, you're on the naughty list? What is it at the end of the day?
It, you know, I know Mozart said this, but it might be punishment because of him, to be honest. So it's I don't know. I really don't know. We were on the main card for Salt Lake City, and then we got pushed back because of my injury, and then somehow we ended up on the prelims. But it is what it is. I mean, we get paid the same, so nothing really changes. Hopefully, there are a lot more people that get to tune in, and we get to fire people up for the main card.
Absolutely. And such an important fight. Look, you've been the pay per view main eventer many times. So when you're in this position, but yet it's still a huge fight, does it take a little bit of the spotlight and pressure off? Does that matter at all?
Nah, I don't really that stuff doesn't really play too much of a factor. The only thing that plays a factor is because it's Vegas, there won't be as the crowd won't be as packed that early.
Sure.
5:30 in Vegas is relatively early. Most people are getting ready for dinner and things like that. So that's the only crappy part about it. But other than that, um, I'm calm about everything else.
All right. The grappling could be on full display in this matchup. But I've seen quotes you said this week, and it's true. A lot of times, sometimes the grappling can cancel each other out. Uh, do you have a preference of how this fight goes in terms of where it goes, or what are your expectations here against his opponent?
Maybe it's like Gamrot versus Arman Shoyukin. That would be cool. That would be a fun fight. Especially as to yeah, that'd be a really fun one to have. But we'll see. I don't know how versatile his grappling really is. I know he's good at controlling guys, but maybe it ends up being a striking affair, and we just figured out who's the better striker out of the grapplers.
How would you break down and rate Movsar's game?
I'll give him. I mean, he's pretty good, man. I'd give him. He's safe. He's defensively sound. He's got decent offense. He knows how to win. If I'm gonna grade his skills overall, probably give him like an eight, 8, 9, maybe.
All right. All right. There's been some talk that this pretty much could be a potential number one contenders fight. And especially if you won, given your name and two straight wins over quality opponents on there. Are you looking at it like that? Are you expecting that if you get a thorough, convincing victory, that you would be potentially in line to be next for the 145 belt?
Oh, absolutely. If I go out there and I can really style on Mosar, possibly get a finish, I do think I can finish him in the second round, get a submission. I think that really clears a lot of contenders out of the way and puts me right ahead of the line, especially a guy who beat Diego Lopez already. Just looking at the landscape, it really puts me in a great spot. So I got to really focus on going out there, getting the job done, and try to wow the crowd and wow the bosses. I mean, we know how this game goes. Like the objective is to win, but if there's moments where I could take advantage of it, I'm definitely going to look to do that.
Did you have to change any of your game plan, your style in the new division, considering you're in there against bigger opponents, more powerful opponents?
Anything I had to change? Not really. I mean, guys are bigger, but yeah, I didn't really have to change too much. Not too much, no.
Indeed, indeed. Do you think that Ilia Topuria, the new champion, of course, at featherweight, will defend against Diego Lopez? Or if you have the performance you're talking about, you're going to have, that you would be like literally next for him?
I think I would literally be next or the winner of that. It really just depends. I would imagine Volker was supposed to get the shot unless something just recently happened that removed him from that situation. But I wouldn't mind a fight with Volkanovski either. That'd be a fun one as
Sure.
well. I want the fights at this point in my career, the big names, the ones that people know, that been around the sport, cut their teeth in the game, did all the hard work, like the same way I did. And I think that's what gets the fans excited. These are like champ versus champ matchups, which I think that's what people want to see. They want to see the bigger name fights.
No doubt about it. And you're in such a really good spot in your career and your age where you're right in the midst of contention, but you've also got a name so they could match you, like you said, against Volk, against anybody where people just want to see two big names, two different styles. And obviously, you have a new buffet of opponents available to you. So when we're talking about the champion in Topuria, look, when he runs through Volk and Max like he did, fans, us media members were jaw dropped. We're like, holy shit, is this guy real? But you're a fighter. When you're watching those performances, how do you respond?
The guy is he's damn good, man. I have not a bad thing I can say about the guy. Like not at all. He talked the talk and walked the walk. To beat two guys like that and the way he's beaten everybody else on his way to the belt, it's been pretty impressive. I mean, the only one performance, I don't know if it was short notice or not, was with Yusuf Zalal. Um, and we've seen the run that Yusuf's on now, so it just goes to show how good Yusuf is. Also, there's, I mean, you can't do MMA math, but it's very impressive, and it's something that I'm striving to do just a little bit more of what he's able to do. I mean, I'm not looking to change my whole game, but I'm looking to add some. I still have bits and pieces and work some things out. I'm like, let me see if I can pull some of these things off in training, and maybe we'll see it on Saturday night.
But does the competitor in you look at him and go, man, I cannot wait to get a chance at that?
That's a double-edged sword because that's a tough fight. That could be really bad or it could be really good. Either way, a fight with Ilya, I'm gonna be hurting. So um, I do have my tools that I think are utilized to win. But if I can't get to that, I know it's going to be a very tough night. And that's just being honest. I'm not delusional by any means. The guy's a really good stand-up striker. I think I have really good range management. I think I have really good grappling for takedowns and control. And I know he has really good grappling too, defense. But everyone's human, So
Yeah, that 100%, no question. Your teammate Merab's got a nice big fight coming around here at UFC 311, but he was getting killed for like a week in the court of public opinion over whether he wanted the fight. Was any of that fair to him in your eyes? I mean, did that push him into saying no? Let's book this fight now.
possibly. I don't know if that's what really did it or not. We've spoke about that a little bit. The fight announcement. Um, yeah, I don't know if that really played a factor, so it's hard for me to say. But I mean, he has said multiple times on different occasions, interviews, tweets, post-fight interview after winning the belt that he will fight anyone the UFC puts in front of him. Um, he doesn't think Umar was the most deserving just based on what he's did in the division, and I agree. Um, that's what happens when I guess when Merab beats out all the contenders. You don't really have much. I mean, some of those fights could have been title defenses. So it's a weird situation, but they're gonna fight. I wish it was a little bit later just so I can heal up and fully help out with the training camp a little bit more because I'm gonna need probably 1 or 2 weeks pending the injuries
Sure.
from this weekend. And even if it was April or May, that would have been fine. Even if it's Umar, no one's avoiding Umar. It's just a date they were trying to rush him back for, which he's now doing. So it is what it is, and we'll make sure we have him prepared as best as we can.
When you and Merab made that decision to build each other up, be friends, be teammates, and never fight each other, when was that? And was it inspired at all by what DC and Kane have done?
No, we honestly, we were just fighting and we just kept winning, and it wasn't even a conversation. It wasn't even a thought until maybe who did I beat? I think maybe the Pedro Munoz fight or the Sandhagen fight is when people started talking about that, and that was in 2020. And they would start to bring up those questions, and I never even gave it a time of day. I was just kind of like, I didn't even realize we were both kind of killing it right now. But um, I already knew how I felt, and I kind of had a similar feeling that it was reciprocated. And yeah, so it was very similar to that. He even thought about going down to 125 just to avoid it if he were to be honored a title shot sooner rather than later. But thankfully, he doesn't have to do that. I think he's better at 35, not having to cut that much weight to get down to 25 would
Sure.
be brutal.
He's one of the best personalities in this game that we've seen in a long time. What's it like hanging with that guy?
He's a funny dude. He's unintentionally funny sometimes, and when he wants to be funny, he's funny as well. So it's just great energy to be around. And he's also such a really nice guy.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. This fight's master for you against Evloev. We talked about the stakes and all of that. You're not looking 35, Aljo. So, like, do you feel it? Does age matter anymore? I mean, you guys take such great care of yourselves that, like, 10, 15 years ago, you'd talk about expiration dates more on fighters. Where are you at with that? So, sort of where you can feel it coming, you adjust your game, or maybe you still feel 25. Where are you at with that?
I definitely don't feel 25. I definitely have some mileage, although it doesn't show. Just the years of wrestling has definitely beat the body up. But I don't know. I'm just taking it one fight at a time, see how this one goes, and go from there. There's no rush. There's no need to just jump at anything. It's just take my time, enjoy the process, enjoy the last few rides that I have, and hopefully there's more than there is less.
Are there any names left that from the creative fun side of your fighting brain that you're like, damn, I'd love to get a chance to fight one, that guy. Could be a different weight class. You mentioned Volk before, which is kind of one of those fights, against another legend. Do you have anybody on your short list?
Mm, on the short list. I mean, Volk, Max would be cool too. Just really the big names, man. The big names are just they make it more exciting. There's something more about it. I would fight Jan again in a trilogy, but at 45. Um, I know people kind of want to see me running back with Sandhagen. I'll do that at 45. Like I'm definitely not going back down to 35. It's just not happening. But
Indeed, understood for sure. Was it good to see Piotr Jan come back and reestablish himself?
yeah, for sure. He's a solid dude, solid fighter. I definitely think from the first fight that we had to the second fight, he improved. Like being in there with him, I had a bad rehydration, which is why I gassed out so quickly. I try to explain that to people. Like I didn't realize the time I was fighting at because it was so late. So it's like now I'm on the prelims versus you go from like prelim early in the day, you eat a certain amount so you don't feel like you're gonna puke, right? And then you fight later tonight, almost 4 hours later, and you're like, something's messed up here. I feel like I'm cutting weight right now. And I felt the difference in his skill set drastically improve. Maybe not say drastically, but it was definitely a noticeable difference when I was in there with him the second time around. and he looked really good against Figgy Sharp. He had a tough one against Song Yadong, but was able to outlast him and start to put it on him a bit. He's a good fighter, man. He's a really good fighter. Fun fighter to watch too.
Yeah, appreciate hearing that. All right, it goes down UFC 310 this Saturday. Aljo, you get that win, man. You're back. You're going for that title in the second division. Final question. When it comes to the second division, is it belt or nothing? Is that what gets you up every single day? Because if you become a two-division champion, I mean, it's immortality in the sport.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the part that gets me excited. Is to become a two-division champion would be just a dream come true, man. That would be unreal. I don't say it's belt or nothing. I'll say belt or fun fights. I'm not looking to be no one's stepping stone for these younger guys to come up who are like 25. Like, I'm good on that, man. I know what it was like when I was the young guy fighting the older guys. I'm like, it's just a different gear. And I compete and train with these younger guys, but I know they just have a little bit of an extra, they just have an extra gear. Even if I'm
Sure.
winning the sparring sessions, winning the grappling rounds, it's just more work than I would like to. I'm like, man, it's hard to keep up with you young bucks, so it's a little different.
Well, let's see what you can do with this young buck on Saturday. Thanks for your time, Aljo. Best of luck out there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.